Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're stepping right into the lab as tone architects. Our main objective? We are going to reverse engineer one of the absolute most massive synth-like guitar tones in modern rock history. I'm talking about Brad Delson's crushing, era-defining sound from Hybrid Theory. But look, we aren't just taking a trip down memory lane here. We're actually extracting the raw DNA of that legendary hardware and translating it into a precise, modern digital build that you can fire up in your own bedroom studio right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our schematic for today. We'll start by breaking down the Hybrid Theory blueprint and the hardware foundation. Then, we execute the digital build, step by step. Surgical noise gating, sculpting the modern EQ, extreme dynamic flattening, and finally, layering that panned wall of sound.
All right, Section 1, the Hybrid Theory blueprint, engineering modern perfection. We aren't talking about your standard rock and roll looseness here, guys. This tone was a literal architectural marvel, built for absolute precision and undeniable weight.
What we're looking at is a guitar tone so incredibly tight, compressed, and heavy that it basically behaves exactly like a synthesizer. This approach just ruthlessly eliminated all that classic rock slop. You know, no ringing strings, no vintage warmth, just a super focused industrial wall. And why? Because the guitars had to lock in perfectly with heavy electronic and hip-hop beats. To compete with actual synthesizers in the mix, the guitar itself had to become one. Mathematically tight, heavily compressed, and just terrifyingly consistent.
Moving on to Section 2, hardware. PRS meets Mesa, the physical foundation. Because before we can code this into a plugin, we need to forensically examine the actual physical metal and wood that birthed it.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we contrast the classic rig with the digital blueprint. The original formula relied on these incredibly dark, thick-sounding PRS Custom 24 guitars, and they were often tuned so low the strings felt like rubber cables and dropped C-sharp. That ran straight into a seething Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. But today, we're achieving that exact same massive footprint digitally. We use high-end amp modelers paired with custom impulse responses to perfectly simulate moving actual air in a room.
Let's actually crack open the dual rectifier settings that defined the era. You've got gain absolutely dimed at 10, providing heavy saturation for endless sustain. Bass is sitting heavy at 7 or 8 to deliver that modern, floor-shaking bottom end. But notice the mids. They're scooped to about 4 or 5. That leaves a massive crater in the mix for vocals and snare drums. And the real secret ingredient here? Treble is rolled back to 7 or 8. This is absolutely crucial because it kills the harsh, nasally ice pick attack of the guitar pick, smoothing the distortion into a thick, synth-like roar. Which brings us to Section 3, surgical noise gating. Total silence between chugs. We are officially shifting from physical hardware into your digital workstation now. For modern metal perfection, absolute noise control is step number 1.
The legendary impact of these start-stop riffs doesn't just come from the explosive, distorted notes themselves. It actually comes from the claustrophobic, sudden silence between them. If your amp is hissing or a string is ringing out even a little bit during a rest, you lose that punishing mechanical groove completely. So, the crucial point is exactly how you set up your DAW. First up, drop a digital noise gate, something like a Boss NS2, at the very front of your plug-in chain preamp. Second, set your threshold aggressively high, like it shouldn't let a whisper through unless you are physically striking a string. And third, ensure lightning-fast attack. Set it to 0 if you can. You want to instantly chop off the natural decay and enforce a mathematical stop the millisecond your palm hits the bridge.
All right, Section 4, sculpting the modern EQ, carving out the mud. With your silence perfectly gated, we have to sculpt the frequency. Getting a massive tone requires some pretty delicate surgery.
80 to 120. Memorize this hertz range, guys. You absolutely must apply a high-pass filter right here on your raw DI signal. Low-tuned guitars spit out a ton of invisible sub-bass rumble. That rumble literally eats up your digital headroom and physically fights your kick drum in the mix. If you chop it off before it ever hits the distortion plugin, your foundation instantly tightens up. Next, we execute precision tone carving. You want to surgically cut the 200 to 500 Hz mud zone to cure that boxy, congested sound. Then, and this is an absolute industry secret, use an EQ to boost the high mids, right around 700 Hz to 1 kHz, right before the amp simulator. It acts kind of like a tube screamer with the drive at 0, forcing the amp to distort the mid-range harder for an aggressive edge. Finally, rely on those mids for punch. Over-scooping is the #1 way bedroom producers make their guitars completely vanish in a mix. Section 5, Extreme Dynamic Flattening, the squared-off waveform. This is exactly how we take a really good tone and turn it into a polished, radio-ready juggernaut.
Just like the quote says, compression and distortion pedals are absolutely the two most important pedal effects here. High-gain guitars have really wild, terrified dynamics, especially when you're jumping back and forth between tight palm mutes and big open chords. Relentless compression takes all those chaotic spikes and completely flattens them, gluing the audio into a perfectly squared-off digital brick. That way, every single note hits the listener with the exact same weight.
And this brilliantly illustrates why multiband compression is your absolute secret weapon here. When you palm mute a drop-tuned guitar, the low end suddenly blooms, and it creates this woggly mud. A multiband compressor is basically a sniper rifle for frequencies. You set it to watch only the low mids. When you play a normal chord, it sleeps. But the second you chug, it clamps down lightning fast, keeping the bass incredibly tight without thinning out your overall tone.
Finally, Section 6, the panned wall of sound. Layering the architect's blueprint. Because one perfect guitar track does not make a hybrid theory tone. We have to multiply it.
180. Commit these numbers to memory for sure. These are your hard panning percentages for the left and right channels. This is the mathematical formula for a quad-tracked wall of sound. You're going to pan your first pair of guitars 100% hard left and right. Then your second pair gets tucked in at roughly 80% left and right.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Because stacking only sounds massive if you follow strict rules. Otherwise, it's just a phasey mess. First off, record 4 completely independent, incredibly tight takes. Never, ever copy-paste. The colossal width comes entirely from human microvariations between the takes. Second, retune your strings after every single take. Heavy strings go flat incredibly fast. Finally, for that 80% panned pair, change your tone. Switch pickups or use a completely different guitar, like swapping a PRS for an Ibanez. That slight sonic difference is what generates true, natural stereo width.
So, the blueprint is yours. We've decoded the physical hardware, mapped out the surgical EQ, detailed the multi-band compression, and laid out the exact quad tracking formula that built a legend. My challenge to you as a tone architect is this. Take this cyber-industrial blueprint, load up your DAW, and apply it to your own tracks. What will you build with it? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the lab next time.